Cam Newton reported the Panthers training camp this week after having off-season shoulder surgery. Ron Rivera said the Panthers have to be judicious when they use Cam as a runner. He's the only quarterback in NFL history with 6 seasons of at least 90 rushing attempts. So yesterday, Cam was asked if he plans on running less this season. Let's take a listen.
I don't understand certain things. Like, that's my edge, you know. You gonna expect the lion not to roar? Like, you got to really ask yourself that. Like, I couldn't imagine, you know, talking to Brady or talking to Aaron or talking to even Matt Ryan or Breeze and say, hey, you gonna stay in the pocket all day like that? Like, that's where you feel comfortable at. I think in my career, over the whole body of work, the things that has put me at an advantage most times is having that ability to run. I'm just going to take what the defense gives me. Yeah, do I have weapons? Absolutely. But it's still going to be on, you know, on me and in me to focus on getting those different outlets the ball the right time.
Shannon, would you like to see Cam run less?
Absolutely. And he mentioned, do you expect a lion not to roar? But does Cam know why they roar? The female will roar to call her cubs. They'll bellow. They have different pitches because they're in pride, the females. But each lioness have a different pitch to call her particular set of cubs.
Well, you did some deep research on this one.
The male lion, he will bellow because he's territorial. And he's telling all others, beware. You trespassing, get to stepping. Cam, why does the lion roar? Why are you running? They said, this is what I want, Skip. I want them to call less quarterback draws. I want them to call less quarterback powers. When have you seen, Cam Newton is the only guy that I've ever seen this, that they'll pull a guard, a tackle, and a fullback and run the quarterback on a power. Cam, they're not going to ask you to just stand there and be a statue, but be judicious in when you run. They selected their first 2 pick in the draft, a running back that's very versatile, Christian McCaffrey, and Samuel, the speedster from Ohio State. Basically, what they're saying to you, Cam, is put the ball in these guys' hands and let them do the heavy lifting. You mentioned those guys. He mentioned the Brady. How many times you see Brady stand in the pocket and throw the ball 60 yards? He's getting the ball to Edelman. He's getting the ball to Amendola. He's getting the ball to James White, all those Deion Lewises. He let them do the heavy lifting. Let those guys do the heavy lifting. Cam, nobody's asking you to be a statue. And a lot of what you do is based on your legs. But be smart about it, because what you fail to realize, but you're starting to come to the conclusion, is that you have that 1 on your chest, and that's a quarterback number. But once you start running, they see 22. They see 35. They're going to treat you like a running back, and they're going to try and split your wig. So just be smart about it, Cam. Nobody's asking you to all of a sudden turn into Tom Brady or turn into Aaron Rodgers, but just be smart about it. Don't take that punishment, because he's lost weight. He looks slimmer. He looks very good.
He does.
He looks very good. Yeah. But just be smart about it, Cam. Nobody's trying to take away your legs and say you can't do something. But just be smart about it. And I think he's just like, he's playing coy, Skip. I really expect him to run less and throw the ball away more because he's more valuable to them on the field than off of it.
Quick aside before I answer. You're going to see some 60-yard bombs from Tom Brady this year because he has his first deep threat since Randy Moss and Brandon Cooks.
Yes.
So he hasn't had anybody who could get behind the defense 60 yards down the field, right?
Well, Chris Hogan.
You're laughing when you say that.
Chris Hogan had 200 yards in that playoff game?
He fools them every once in a while.
7-11?
Yeah, he is 7-11.
Dolphins, y'all just be giving away y'all good players. Him, Wes Welker.
All right, back to Cam Newton. Obviously, should a lion quit running? If a lion quits running, it's going to starve, right? You got it. So, look, here's the bottom line to this discussion. Cam Newton became a force in this league and an MVP because he is a dual threat.
Yes.
That's part of his repertoire, I'll say it right. And it makes him a much more dangerous passer just because he's such a threat to take off or just have a called run every once in a while. He can be his own running game. In fact, I can make a case he's been his own, sort of the driving force of his own running game for most of his career. But to me, and I said this before the draft, and I was great with them taking him #1 overall, he's not a good enough pure passer to be a totally great pure passer, because he wasn't accurate enough at Auburn. I didn't see him at Blinn, but at Auburn, he just wasn't consistently accurate enough to be a pure pocket passer. This is the RG3 syndrome that we just went through with Robert. But if you the numbers don't lie on this. 6 years in the league for Cam Newton. He's completed 58.4% of his passes. That ranks 34th in the NFL over that 6-year period. It's not great.
No.
Drew Brees leads it over the 6-year period with 10 percentage points higher at 68.4%.
Right.
Okay, so that's the top, and he's down near the bottom at 58%. So what happened 2 years ago? Cam Newton was the MVP of this league, and what did he do? He had a career-high 132 rushes, and by the way, he had a career-high 35 touchdown passes and a career-low 10 interceptions. What a year.
Yeah.
That's an MVP year. What did the team do? It went 15-1. Last year, all of a sudden, Cam Newton has a career low rushing attempts, only 90 last year, down from 132 the year before. He goes 19 touchdowns to 14 interceptions, and they go 6-10. I think there's a correlation there. Right?
But you have to also factor in, Skip, their defense. Cam was on the field more. Kinkley with concussions, Josh Norman. Yep. They missed Josh Norman more than they previously thought. And so with the injuries on that side of the football, it forced Cam to be on the field more, and it forced him to take more chances. His defense couldn't give him the ball back as many times as they did the year before. And the thing is, you mentioned those 35 touchdown passes. He also had 10 rushing touchdowns. Yeah. But if you remember last year, Skip, like the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season, we were talking about, was this a cheap shot on Cam? Well, how do you judge him? Mike Pereira says, well, it's so hard to judge. I mean, he's a big man and he's running and he's this and that.
I don't think they protect him enough.
No, I don't think so either. But I tell you how you can get protected. Don't put yourself in harm's way. It's okay. Know when the journey's over. Live to see another day.
I so agree with you, but somehow there's something in a competitor's psyche, in Cam's and former Robert's psyche, back when he was a player, that prohibits you from giving up and giving in and sliding. Cam does it every once in a while, but too often Cam says, I'm better than you, Mr. Linebacker. I'll just beat you. I'm going to run through you. I may not try to run over you, but I'm going to run through your tackle. And you know and I know what's going to happen over time. You just can't get away with it.
There's not a material known to man that if you hammer it enough, that it won't break.
That is correct.
And Cam Andrew Luck had the same problem, Skip. You remember his first couple of years?
He is still having that problem.
And what happened? He missed the whole season.
He did.
Lacerated with spleen and kidney and internal, and, it put him out. Cam, they selected Christian McCaffrey with the 8th pick for a reason.
Which is great. And Cam gets that.
Yeah.
He is going to have a little more of a safety valve. When in doubt, just flip it out to the little guy. Let him take off.
I'm going to do him just like my grandpa used to do me and my brother. Hey, boy, go cut the TV on. Bring me a glass of water. He made me and my brother do all the heavy lifting. Yep. If I'm Cam, hey, Christian, handle this first down. Samuel, handle that. Benjamin, punch it. Y'all do all this. Hey, I'm just directing. I'm the band director. I ain't blowing no horn. Okay. Just stay on key. That's all I'm doing, Skip.
But the lion has to roar every once in a while, or the lion's going to struggle.
Let me ask you a question. How many times do you hear a lion roar when he tries to sneak up on a wildebeest or a zebra? Don't. There's a reason. Let it be for a reason, not for no bull jive.
No, I got it.
So if I'm Cam, I'm saying the offensive coordinator David Schuler, don't you be calling no quarterback powers.
I get that, and I'm with you on that. But it's back to the RG3 syndrome, which just tore me apart, because you know how big a fan I was of Robert Griffin III at Baylor. I thought Robert was a little better thrower of the football than Cam was in college. Because if you watch Robert at Baylor, he just lit my Sooners up. I can tell you that.
Everybody at Baylor, all those quarterbacks light everybody up.
I got it, but Robert could really fling it.
Okay.
But Robert had world-class speed, way beyond Cam. Cam just Cam has some quickness about him, but he's more of a power runner.
But the thing that I love
250
most
pounds.
about Cam, he's never tried to get away from who he was.
No.
The problem that Robert had, Robert tried to get away from who he actually was. He wanted to be Tom Brady and Peyton Manning.
Hey, but he didn't in the first year, and Mike did like an all-time beautiful job with him the first year.
What, you should have told Robert and his dad that.
But what happened near the end of the year, he couldn't figure out how to slide. Like, he's so athletic, but he just really couldn't execute.
Right.
They even brought somebody in from the Nationals to try to teach him.
Right.
Like a mental block.
Yeah, it's a mental block. Like, okay, you put your feet go first, but they're just above the ground, and they kind of slide along the grass.
Right.
And then your hip touches down, and it's like a plane landing softly, right? Couldn't get it. And I don't know if it didn't go in his psyche right, or if he just thought it wasn't, like manly to slide. I don't know.
The biggest misconception is that people think Robert got hurt in the pocket. He got hurt scrambling.
Oh, it was terrible. But
It was the Haloti Nada play that really. Yes.
He got helicoptered.
Yeah.
And
his leg whipped.
Boom.
With 340 with load. Haloti Nada.
That was the beginning.
That was the beginning of it, Skip.
Yeah.
It wasn't he was in the pocket and somebody hit his knee.
Then the thing goes completely against Seattle in the home playoff game after they jumped out to a 14-0 lead. Was he not having a spectacular rookie
He was phenomenal.
year? Wow. So then he's got to go total big rehab. He got a little caught up in building his brand through,
Gatorade,
documentary rehab.
Adidas,
but then his father, and I have a good source on this, goes in to Daniel Snyder and Shanahan and all of them and says, hey, we are going to be Peyton Manning next year. We are going to throw everything from the pocket. We're not going to run anymore. None of these, the zone reads, we're not going to do that. Because Robert, Robert, it was like a gimme on the zone read with Alfred Morris. He could just pull it back and take off. There'd be nobody home over here. He could get 9 yards and just go down. 9 yards. It's a lot of yards. Like, you could just give yourself up. And it's more frustrating to the defense that you gave yourself up instead of trying to juke and get 15 more yards.
Alfred Morris rushed for 1,600 yards his rookie year.
Yeah.
So everything was open. Robert was throwing the ball well. But that would Skip. He would he was offensive rookie of the year over Andrew Luck. But Andrew Luck got more praise because of his ability to throw the ball from the pocket. And that's what he wanted. That wasn't good enough. Mike called Baylor and talked to them. What's the best way we can maximize Robert? But Skip, that wasn't good enough. He wanted to be something that he wasn't when all he had ever done was play from the spread set. Peyton Manning has always been under the center, shotgun quarterback, play from the pocket. So was Brady, so was all these other quarterbacks. But you know what? I don't want to do that. This is what I want to be. This is who I want to be. And it cost him.
Well, I do think, bottom line, I think Cam's learned some lessons. I think he will run some this year, and I think he's going to have a big bounce back.
I'll be surprised if he runs 90 times this year. It might be in the 50s.
Well, he should be himself, and who cares how you do it as long as you're winning and you're healthy, which was not last year. Next up, John Harbaugh said yesterday the Ravens have discussed adding Colin